It's just got a whole load worse for Meghan Markle because her sister Samantha ain't going anywhere.
And when you're pregnant, there's not a pillow under your skirt. And there's live footage of her walking towards camera with her abdomen swaying left to right in a black and white checkered dress.
We started wondering, what's up with this? Like, why? And we started to realize, aha.
Did Meghan Markle use a surrogate? That's been something posited literally for well over 3 years when it comes to her firstborn son Archie and even her daughter Lilibet. And many people even wonder, are their children even real?
I think the palace and the machinery of the monarchy needs to take Harry and Meghan more seriously and make sure that Harry and Meghan's antics don't impact the future of the crown.
In this case, about whether you think the birth was real, whether you think there was a surrogate, whether you think Meghan was wearing a moon bump, the fact is Harry and Meghan lied. Buckingham Palace lied on their behalf. There was a complete cover-up over the birth of Prince Archie.
Meghan just went into labor when really Archie had been born for several hours at that point is a foolish game to play, and it only diminished credibility and trust, and it honestly made people kind of mad and irritated about the situation because it's like, well, why would you do that? Why are you lying to people? Why are you trying to mislead people?
And I thought, what is she not contextually aware? She's trying to hide something. This is really sloppy pool.
This is absolutely insane that they thought they could get away with it, especially Meghan Markle and Harry. The con of the century, 2 cons of the century in the form of 2 royal children included in the line of succession. A royal physician was not allowed to examine her womb. I mean, I don't know about anybody else, but if I were pregnant with a royal child, you would want that child in the best care of the best medical practitioners that money could buy.
With either Archie or Lily, and it needs to happen. They need to prove that those children, Meghan and Harry, are not entitled to privacy in this matter. And their privacy is trumped by our right to know that no bastard is going to sit on the throne of this country.
There's one theme, just as a complete outsider paying half attention to Daily Mail headlines, that runs through her life, is she's blowing up families. I mean, she seems like she's really caused a lot of problems in her husband's family. Clearly, she's gone after your family.
Why did royal succession suddenly become surrounded by silence and confusion? Observers have pointed out moments that, to them, felt unusual, raising questions about transparency rather than making accusations. Once those moments are laid out side by side, some people say the narrative feels less clear than the traditional royal fairy tale. Over time, commentators noticed inconsistencies in publicly available photos and timelines, leading to debate online. These discussions do not prove anything, but they explain why questions began circulating in public forums and media commentary, even though no definitive evidence has ever been presented.
When I first saw it, I thought, like, wait, no way this can actually be real. Number one, it just looks really weird, but like, it's also, her belly actually does look really fake. And this has been something that a lot of like her haters have been saying, is that she was faking her pregnancy, she was using a surrogate, and she just had like a...
Some commentators have asked whether reported postpartum changes could occur without a traditional pregnancy, while medical professionals consistently note that postpartum recovery varies widely from person to person. This remains a topic of opinion, not proof, and no medical records have ever been made public. In Prince Harry's memoir Spare, which was presented as a deeply personal account of life inside the royal family, readers noticed one detail that sparked discussion.
They decide, okay, well, you know, we have to come out and like show the baby in some way, but we're not coming out to the street. The filthy masses are not going to have anything to do with our kid. So then they show up and there's Meghan in her white dress with Harry, and he's holding this completely still baby.
Because a Portland hospital doesn't have an emergency department. So if you are a high-risk birth or something happens during that labour to either you or your baby, there's no crash team, there's nothing. They will call an ambulance and you'll be sent to the nearest NHS hospital. So when Meghan was talking about, the emergency department, that's why we couldn't do the photograph in front of the hospital.
Meghan Markle gave birth to Lily, because this is what's called plausible deniability. They want to be able to say, hey, we never claimed that she was our daughter in that announcement. They're legally covering their backs. There's just too many unknowns. And then, of course, we have that the doctor that allegedly delivered Lily quit her practice 2 weeks after giving birth to Lily or delivering Lily. That sentence there is missing. That is a vital sentence that Meghan Markle chose not to put in an official statement because she knows she would get into a lot of legal trouble and she needed plausible deniability. And Archie and Lilibet, they haven't had any verification of who gave birth to those children, which is actually quite mandatory. We've heard Harry, the incredible story of Wonder Woman Meghan Markle walking out of a room 1 hour after giving delivery to Archie.
The book describes the birth at Portland Hospital and a return to Frogmore Cottage within a short time frame, which many readers found surprising based on their own experiences. Medical experts have since explained that birth experiences differ significantly, and recovery timelines are not identical for everyone. While some readers questioned the speed described, others pointed out that private medical care can operate differently from public systems. Public confusion increased when early media reports offered differing details about timing and location. These inconsistencies were never officially clarified in detail, which allowed speculation to grow online even though no formal contradictions were confirmed. Commentators also noted that birth documentation was updated days later, something that can happen for administrative reasons.
They want to hide their secrets, and I just love digging away to find out what they don't want us to know.
If you had those things, it would be very easy just to put them out there and say, this is what happened. This is what it is. And there's a very big difference. It was deliberate. So all the pictures, my point is, out there were inconsistent with the idea of a real pregnancy.
While this drew attention, changes to paperwork alone do not indicate wrongdoing and can occur for many non-controversial reasons. When compared with other modern royal births, observers pointed out procedural differences that fueled debate. However, differences in approach do not automatically imply rule-breaking, especially when privacy requests are involved. At its core, this discussion has never been about proving hidden claims, but about how unclear communication can invite speculation. When timelines feel confusing and explanations are limited, public curiosity naturally fills the gaps, even when no verified facts support extreme conclusions. Why does this matter so much? Because for many commentators, the issue goes beyond personal privacy and into questions about transparency surrounding the royal line of succession.
Why lie? It was just so truly bizarre.
People think her kids are fake. They think they're AI.
I do believe because there are no delivery certificates, silence everybody and just produce a DNA sample.
That's why the way Archie's birth was announced drew attention, not because of secrecy alone, but because it differed from past royal practices. Harry and Meghan chose not to make an immediate public announcement when Meghan went into labor. Archie's birth was confirmed hours later, a decision they said was about privacy, though it sparked discussion among royal watchers who were used to a different approach. The conversation intensified when Meghan's half-sister, Samantha Markle, began sharing her perspective publicly. She didn't just say things felt unusual, she pointed to what she described as specific timelines that raised questions in her mind, though none of this has ever been independently verified. According to interviews Samantha gave to journalist Dan Wooten, she claimed her father, Thomas Markle, told her that Meghan had collected frozen eggs months before Archie's birth.
People wouldn't, for the rest of maybe Archie and Lily's life, they may deal with questions about this surrogacy. And the only people they have to blame are their own parents who have fueled these rumors. That it just really kind of boggles the mind. I mean, just for titles, for example. So when Archie was first born, they said they didn't want him to have a title. He was going to be a private citizen. I was like, bravo, you understand. He's not going to be a working member of the royal family. He is going to have to live a normal life, get a normal job. That is fantastic. And then it came out later in the Oprah Winfrey interview. Well, they denied him a title and security because he is a mixed race child. And then it was kind of like, and then later she kind of backtracked. that it just really kind of boggles the mind. I mean, just for titles, for example. So when Archie was first born, they said they didn't want him to have a title. He was going to be a private citizen. I was like, bravo, you understand. He's not going to be a working member of the royal family. He is going to have to live a normal life, get a normal job. That is fantastic. And then it came out later in the Oprah Winfrey interview. Well, they denied him a title and security because he is a mixed race child. And then it was kind of like, and then later she kind of backtracked. You know, Harry and Meghan they would refuse to kind of show him. They finally kind of showed him off in South Africa. And it was very much, you know, kind of a display. And she went to the polo match. And again, people wondered because it's like, she just didn't, it was a very stiff way she was holding him. It was just looked odd. And you looked at her and compared her to Kate, and you can't help the comparisons. And Kate is playing with baby Louis, and he's, you know, kissing her, trying on sunglasses. And Meghan does not even look at Louis at all. And Louis looking at her.
Samantha presented this as her interpretation of events, not as documented proof, and those claims remain unconfirmed. Some commentators online suggested that this timing could align with surrogacy planning, while others stressed that frozen egg retrieval is common for many reasons and does not indicate pregnancy outcomes.
Now we are looking at the two different theories and whether or not they're truly viable. Is it viable and possible that she would have this postpartum swelling or weight gain without carrying the babies herself through using a surrogate? They could say, no, we did not use a surrogate and be done with it. Why they don't is suspect, but admitting they did use a surrogate would unravel the lies. Why the need for a moon bump? Why cosplay being pregnant?
No medical documentation has ever been released to support any theory. Samantha also argued that a lack of publicly available verification fueled speculation. However, royal births are not required to release personal medical records, and privacy laws limit what can be disclosed, even for public figures. In interviews, Samantha stated that if surrogacy had been involved, she believed it should have been acknowledged openly.
But I had to take my children to Professor Bolstrop, who was the leading expert in the field at that time, at the Chelsea and Westminster Hospital it was, and he was going to be investigating. And of course, you know my boys, so you know their very spirit. All Harry and Meghan need to do is prove to us that she popped those babies out. And that's all they need to do. And if they don't, it is unfair on the children. It's also unfair on the royal family.
Well, look, Radar Online, in fairness, they do quote you and say Royal Author Lady Colin Campbell recently challenged the conspiracy of silence and misinformation surrounding both topics.
She referenced what she described as traditional succession rules, though constitutional experts have repeatedly noted that succession law is complex and often misunderstood. Importantly, no official authority has ever stated that Archie or Lilibet's status in the line of succession is in question. Titles and succession placement remain unchanged, and no evidence has been presented to challenge their legitimacy. Claims about DNA testing, concealment, or deception remain speculative opinions voiced by family members, not established facts. Neither Meghan nor Harry has responded directly to these allegations, choosing instead to maintain their privacy. As these claims circulated, other estranged relatives offered their own opinions, further fueling public debate. But disagreement within families does not equal proof, and personal conflicts often shape how stories are told. In the end, what remains is not confirmation of wrongdoing, but a case study in how limited information, family disputes, and public curiosity can combine to create lasting speculation, without verified evidence to resolve it.
Meghan and Harry did instead was they did not announce it when Meghan went into labor, for whatever reason. They kept Archie's birth private for over 8 hours. They did not tell people that he was actually born and arrived until 8 hours later. They also issued a confusing press release suggesting Meghan had just gone into labor after Archie had already been born. So they were playing games here with this. And the result was that the media and the public felt misled because they were misled. As we've seen Meghan Markle put out more and more content connected to her children, whether that's the pregnancy video that made the entire world cringe from secondhand embarrassment, or talking about her experiences on podcasts or things like that, or just posting a lot more pictures. it has drawn a lot of attention to the controversies surrounding her kids, her pregnancies, how the children came into the world, the whole thing. Everything she's done has only drawn more speculation and brought the controversies back up.
Even though Meghan had let it be known she wanted a home birth, it was probably very realistic that her first child at 37, it was going to be born in hospital.
So at the time, Archie Mountbatten Windsor was born May 6, 2019.
Public accusations between family members are serious, especially when they involve deeply personal matters. Meghan's half-sister has publicly claimed she believed something was misleading about the pregnancy, including suggesting the use of a prosthetic belly. But these statements remain her personal allegations and have never been proven. In interviews, Samantha Markle said she sought outside medical opinions to understand what she believed were inconsistencies. She described consulting medical professionals, though no findings or formal investigations were ever made public, and no official conclusions were reached. As those claims circulated, public reaction intensified.
Owes it to the public of each and every country of which the king is monarch to clear up any doubts about anybody in the line of succession. Meghan's conduct is what has triggered all of this. Oh, Archie doing a deep dive between the knees, Archie competing with Tom Daley before he was even given birth to. Archie's unique qualities. And we need to remember that Archie was truly unique because his first word was crocodile. And Archie, of course, was the product of a union that maritally started when they were roasting chicken. And I leave it at that. But what I will go back to say, in terms without giving too much levity to their Harry and Meghan's really crazed behavior.
People began asking why some family members sounded so confident in their statements, while others stressed that family disputes often involve emotion, bias, and long-standing conflict rather than evidence. Some commentators also focused on how Lilibet's birth announcement was worded, interpreting it as cautious or legally precise. Others pushed back, noting that announcement language varies widely and does not imply hidden meaning or intent. Beyond family commentary, royal analysts and medical professionals weighed in on details described in Prince Harry's memoir, Spare. Several experts said that some medical descriptions felt unclear or simplified, though memoirs are personal recollections, not clinical records. Before Archie's birth, media reports widely suggested Meghan was considering a home birth at Frogmore Cottage. Later, it was reported that Archie was born at Portland Hospital, which prompted questions about why plans appeared to change without public explanation. Medical professionals pointed out that first births at age 37 are commonly delivered in hospitals, making such a change reasonable and not unusual. However, the lack of detailed clarification allowed speculation to grow among observers. The reported timeline of leaving the hospital shortly after birth also became a topic of discussion. Doctors have explained that post-birth discharge depends on many factors, including private care arrangements, and does not follow a single universal rule. Some commentators argued that hospital protocols typically involve monitoring and paperwork that take time. Others countered that private medical facilities may operate differently, especially when security and privacy concerns are involved. Questions were also raised about public confirmation of medical staff involved in the delivery. While past royal births often included named witnesses, modern privacy standards have shifted, limiting what information is shared publicly. Importantly, no hospital, medical professional, or official authority has ever disputed the reported births. Titles and succession status remain unchanged, and no verified evidence has been presented to challenge them. Prince Harry's public announcement later that day emphasized that both mother and child were healthy and doing well. Since then, Harry and Meghan have consistently chosen privacy over public explanation, a decision that continues to divide public opinion, but does not confirm wrongdoing.
Is this a pregnant belly? Yes, that's supposed to be a real belly. Pregnant belly. Yeah, and I'm 15 years of age, which I'm not.
We all go to work every day. It's very hard. I don't feel sorry for you. You know, like I didn't have people bringing me my meals and rubbing my feet at the end of the day, as I guarantee you these two did. No one cares. Our sympathies aren't with you. They are with the women who work 2 or 3 jobs just to put food on the table.
I'm very excited to announce that Meghan and myself had a baby boy early this morning, a very healthy boy. Mother and baby are doing incredibly well. It's been the most amazing experience.
Some online commentators have focused heavily on visual moments from public appearances, arguing that certain movements or sitting positions looked unusual to them. Images and short clips circulated widely on social media, where viewers offered their own interpretations, even though visuals alone cannot confirm or disprove anything. A handful of videos were repeatedly shared, with observers claiming they noticed shapes, folds, or shifts they personally found confusing. Medical experts, however, have consistently pointed out that clothing, posture, camera angles, lighting, and video compression can all distort how a pregnancy looks on screen. One widely shared clip showed Meghan squatting while wearing heels, which some viewers said appeared unusual. Others countered that bodies move differently during pregnancy, and that short clips taken out of context are unreliable for drawing conclusions. Despite that pushback, online critics dissected the footage frame by frame, while supporters argued the scrutiny itself had crossed into unfair speculation. The same images were interpreted in completely opposite ways depending on the viewer's perspective. As more pregnancy-related photos and videos circulated, discussion online intensified instead of fading. Some viewers claimed the bump appeared higher or shaped differently than expected, while medical professionals noted there is no single correct appearance for pregnancy at any stage. Other commentators speculated about visible outlines under clothing, with doctors explaining that medical devices, clothing seams, or natural body changes can all create unusual shapes on camera. None of these interpretations were ever supported by medical records or official confirmation. What was intended by some as reassurance instead became further material for debate. The situation highlighted how public figures can lose control of the narrative once speculation takes hold online. Supporters of stricter royal protocols argue those rules exist to prevent exactly this kind of public confusion. When details are limited, curiosity fills the gaps, even when there is no verified issue to resolve. As Harry and Meghan have spoken more openly about their experiences through podcasts, interviews, and selective photos, attention has returned to older controversies rather than settling them. The discussion has continued largely because privacy leaves room for interpretation. Critics argue that prolonged secrecy creates unnecessary debate, while others stress that children should not be subjected to public scrutiny over circumstances they had no control over.
The children and her child would be what we call a Harfican. I've never heard of that one before. And would look nothing like any of those children. I know hundreds, and skin tone and hair will tell the true story. She used a surrogate. Sorry. Did a deep dive and she couldn't bear children.
Importantly, no official authority has questioned the children's status in the line of succession. Titles, placement, and recognition remain unchanged, and speculation alone does not alter constitutional reality. Some royal commentators have said the ongoing debate reflects confusion rather than scandal. They argue that unclear communication allowed questions to linger, even though no evidence has emerged to support extreme claims. For many observers, the issue is not proof, but perception. When information is limited, assumptions grow, and once speculation spreads online, it becomes difficult to fully shut down, no matter the facts. That's why the stakes feel so high for many observers. This discussion, as framed by commentators, is not about judging personal choices or invading privacy, but about public uncertainty surrounding royal succession rules and how they are understood by the public. Harry and Meghan consistently said the secrecy around Archie and Lilibet's births was about privacy and protection. At first, that explanation resonated with many people. Modern parents navigating intense media pressure while trying to shield their children. But when commentators step back and look at the full timeline, they argue questions naturally arise. Different birth reports, limited public detail, shifting narratives, and ongoing family disputes have all been interpreted by critics as creating confusion rather than clarity. Online discussions frequently reference reported timelines that felt unusual to some observers, as well as administrative changes to public documents that were never fully explained in detail. None of this proves wrongdoing, but it explains why speculation has continued for years. Family members have publicly shared their own interpretations, while critics point to images and videos they personally find confusing. Medical professionals and royal experts have repeatedly stressed that visuals and personal opinions are not evidence, yet public debate has not faded. Commentators also reference long-standing succession rules, often misunderstood, which add another layer of complexity to the discussion. Legal experts note that succession law is far more nuanced than social media narratives suggest, and no authority has questioned the children's status. What keeps the conversation alive, according to analysts, is not proof, but perception. When clear explanations are limited, speculation fills the space, even when official positions remain unchanged. For some critics, the secrecy feels unnecessary. For supporters, privacy is a reasonable boundary. But once serious questions begin circulating publicly, silence is interpreted in different ways depending on who's listening. The result is a story that refuses to settle, not because facts have changed, but because opinions have hardened. And once public doubt takes root, even silence meant to protect can be reframed as something else entirely. Whether this debate ever ends may depend less on evidence and more on how much explanation the public expects from modern royals living under constant scrutiny. If you want to keep following how royal controversies, media narratives, and public perception collide, make sure to subscribe, drop your thoughts in the comments, and stay tuned for the next deep dive. Because this story, like the debate around it, clearly isn't going away anytime soon.